Major League Baseball winter meetings continue today with news that Aaron Judge has signed a massive deal to stay with the New York Yankees. For more on what's expected today and what the Blue Jays have up their sleeve, I'm joined live by Julia Kreutz from MLB.com. Julia, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, George.
Well, let's start with the verdict. It's in. The judge has gotten paid. Look, the Yanks got bank. We know that. If they had not spilled and, poured it out for Aaron Judge, I mean, if not him, who?
That is the question that a lot of teams are asking themselves right now, George, because as the big marquee names are starting to come off the board in the free agent market, the pressure for teams like the Yankees and to a certain extent the Blue Jays to make these deals with the guys that are available is starting to mount. And for the Yankees, we knew that this Aaron Judge extension or signing would make or break pretty much their offseason. I don't think that in any other way the Yankees offseason could have been considered a success. Mm-hmm. There's still a long way to go. They still have to figure out their roster in a certain extent, but the Aaron Judge signing was the big one for the Yankees.
So let's talk about the Jays. News is they lost out on Verlander, Bellinger. Do they have the bills and the will to make noise with these remaining top-tier players that are left out there?
That is something that both CEO Mark Shapiro and GM Ross Atkins have made abundantly clear that they do have the financial backing to go out and make a big splash in free agency here. Now, again, we are starting to see some of the bigger names get taken off the board with Cody Bellinger, with Justin Verlander. Jacob deGrom signed a new deal with the Rangers, which was a massive one. So we're starting to see the options sort of dwindle. So there is no question that the Blue Jays are positioned to get a big name here, whether that will be a starting pitcher or a left-handed outfielder, that remains to be seen. But it also does seem like if the Blue Jays want to fill out that roster more completely, they may have to dip into the trade market just from the way that free agency has gone so far.
Well, let's talk about that, because the Jays, more than any team in baseball, they have an embarrassment of riches at the catcher position with Jansen, Kirk, and Moreno. I mean, all three of these guys, all-star potential, and one who's the best. Moreno, isn't he like the number one prospect in all of baseball? Are any or either of these players going to be trade tickets?
Certainly that has been the talk of the offseason for the Blue Jays. The catcher position is a rarity when it comes to that sort of richness that the Blue Jays have right now. Having three bona fide catchers is a very difficult thing to do. And so teams are most certainly approaching the Blue Jays here with trade offers, and the Blue Jays would be wise to field them, because there's really no point in continuing with three very, very good catchers when you have other areas that need addressing. So a guy like Danny Jansen, you will hear his name in trade rumors a lot. Because that is just the nature of the business. And the Blue Jays still need to address their bullpen to a certain extent, even though the Teoscar Hernandez trade brought a good arm for the bullpen. They do very much need to address their starting rotation and diversifying that batting lineup, finding a guy that can hit left-handed and really make a contribution on a day-to-day basis. So I would expect these guys to be involved in rumors all offseason long.
Julia, last thing, generally, you got the Stros, the Yankees, the Giants, Dodgers. They're all tops in attendance and salaries and contracts. Is parity still possible in Major League Baseball for these smaller to middling franchises?
That is why we have, a collective balance tax, a competitive balance tax, so that teams are not just abusing this large payroll that they have and this financial capability that they have. It's certainly more difficult for teams who don't have that much flexibility, but there are rules in place that will allow even the smaller market teams to compete. That said, the Blue Jays have said time and time again that their ownership group is supportive of what they're trying to do. Mark Shapiro said yesterday that the CBT is not really a concern for this team this offseason, and so they should be in a good position to spend. The question is how to spend this money, where to spend it, and when. Well,
they've got the core. They've got a revamped stadium coming up and a lot of promise. even though it's 4 months away and we've got World Cup and everything else going on, still talking baseball. Julia Kreutz, MLB.com, such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.